Hey guys, it's Adam aka Swimming Bird, and welcome to another Minecraft 1.9 Snapshot. This is 15W44A and B, and we are getting very close to the full release of the combat update, but even so, there are tons of new features to talk about, including a crafting recipe for end rods and end crystals that now allow you to resurrect and rematch the dragon, also a survival method for obtaining tipped arrows, 2 new status effects that will help or hinder your ability to get rare loot, and a big upgrade to an older block in the game that adds a much needed functionality that will help out a lot of players. So let's get started. Now, I want to begin with trees. There's a lot of them around here, but you'll notice something that was absent from the last couple snapshots for 1.9. Large trees would not spawn in the forest biome, these giant oaks, but they are back, and it is good to see them again. They definitely break up the monotony of having just, a ton of normal trees around, so I'm glad they're back in the game again. Now, this block over here, the hay bale, a lot of people, use them for decoration down on the farm, and you can use them to feed horses and things like that, but at the same time, they're not that useful. But in 1.9, they finally have a really important use. So I'm going to jump off this tree, which you don't normally want to do because I almost died from fall damage. But if we let ourselves heal up a little bit here, and then we go back up onto there and jump off again, this time I'm going to land on those hay bales, and you'll notice something amazing that a lot of players have suggested in the past. Hay bales will now prevent the majority of damage from falling. You only take 20% of your normal fall damage. You can survive without any feather falling enchanted armor from 100 blocks up in the air as long as you land on these hay bales and you have full health. If you have feather falling, you can survive from 169 blocks high. So these are going to be awesome. If you don't want to put water on, you got a base up on a hill or in the sky, and you don't want to put water underneath, there you go. These are very easy to craft, and they look a little cooler, and you can feel like you're an assassin or something like that, and jump into these to prevent a bunch of damage. Now, if you noticed, my hunger helped me heal that wound that I just had from falling very quickly. Now, this is something that was added a few snapshots ago, but is finally working as intended. So there's a stat in the game that I've mentioned before, and a lot of you guys know about, called saturation, and it's invisible. It's been in for a long time. It's actually this little stat that all food items have, and when you eat a piece of food, if it goes over, you heal your food, like if I eat this now, I will be full, and then the points of saturation that I have on this piece of fish are actually going to count towards when I dash around, or when I punch things, or attack and mine. Those points get used up first before your hunger starts to go down, and now it's going to go down again. But with this new update, we are now able to heal much faster as long as we are full of food and have a few points of saturation. So what this means basically is if you take a lot of damage and your health goes down and your hunger goes down, if you eat something, those invisible points will first be used to heal you. And you can see I'm healing very quickly right now because it just burned through all of those saturation points, and now my hunger is going to start going down. But if I eat something again here in a second, it will heal again very rapidly. So you can see it's almost like having a regen potion or a golden apple. It's very useful, and it's going to help with the combat update because combat is a lot tougher now. Smarter monsters, skeletons and zombies and all of them will be ganging up on you, and you're not able to attack them as fast with the new attack speed mechanic. So I think this was a well-deserved upgrade to food, so it's going to make it a lot more useful in the future. Now, the end rods over here I mentioned, we can finally craft them, and you can get 4 of them just by taking a piece of popped chorus fruit. Remember, you can get chorus fruit from the end when you go off towards the end islands and find those cities. They'll be everywhere. You put it in a furnace, you get the popped version, and then put a blaze rod on top like so in your crafting table, or just in your inventory, and you can make 4 of these. And they're a light source, so they're kind of nice and mostly decorative, but now we actually have a renewable way of getting them. You don't have to strip your end cities bare of all the end rods and worry about never, having more if you run out. And then over here, of course, the end crystals. This is an item that's been in the game since, the beta when the dragon was added. It's very important to the dragon boss battle. We can finally craft them now to bring the dragon back, and you will need a gas tier, an eye of ender, and 7 glass blocks. Now be careful with these. you can place them on bedrock and obsidian. I've got a test one over here in the oven ready to go. And the reason I have a big chunk blown off of this cliff and that tree is because I accidentally tapped one of these, and they will explode just like the normal ones. And sometimes they can do a bit of damage. Sometimes they'll be, protected a bit if you detonate them in the right spot. But be careful where they blow up, because you can cause a lot of destruction, and maybe this will be useful in PvP. They're not that expensive to craft. If you have a few of these rare items and some glass lying around, you're good to go. Now, the main purpose of them is to get 4 of them together and head into the end, which is just what we're going to do, and bring back the dragon. So the dragon has a method in survival now to be brought back, and you can fight them as many times as you want. So we're going to go down here. You want 4 of these end crystals and place them one on each side of the portal here. And then when you place the last one, some special stuff happens. We're going to get these dark beams shooting out, and then one by one, the crystals on these pillars are going to start exploding back into being, and they'll have their little beams popping out. The dragon is going to be right up there as soon as all the crystals are done regenerating. And of course, it does resurrect the iron bars as well, so you have to do this fight from the beginning. You won't be able to get to those easier. You have to start over and do it fair and square. And remember, the dragon is much tougher now in 1.9, so if you do want to learn about the new mechanics of the Ender Dragon fight, definitely check out the older Snapshot videos. We covered all of the new dragon stuff. But yeah, so finally, we're not using clay creeper faces to bring the dragon back. We are just using the crystals that we can make. And in the A version of the Snapshot, you would actually get them from the horse trap, the skeleton 4 horsemen, and they would drop from skeletons and zombies. It was a bit buggy, so I think they just made it easier to just craft them. You don't have to, find any rare monsters to get these crystals. Bring the dragon back, and now you don't have to worry about people killing the dragon on your server and not being able to fight it. You can fight as many times as you want and get that new dragon breath to make those lingering potions. Now, the crystals also can't be destroyed by explosions, but the wither can blow them up, so be careful. If you are using these for decoration, someone could just tap it, or the wither could shoot it if you're, spawning one in there, and could cause a lot of destruction. So the dragon, a few bugs were fixed with the dragon as well. I'll mention the bugs at the end, like I usually do, but the dragon used to, freeze when it flew off into the distance. You'd see it just kind of frozen there, but now it'll fly around normal. It's definitely a lot less buggy in this new update, which is a good thing, of course, because we have this new fight that a lot of people are going to want to try. So there are 2 new status effects now that you will see here, and one is called Luck. Now, you can find the Luck Potion, the Splashing version, the Lingering version, and of course the Arrow of Luck, the tipped arrow. All of those will be in your creative inventory, but right now there's no way to craft them, so hopefully we'll get that soon. If you drink a luck potion, or you're affected by one, then you get this little clover icon in the corner, and you now have the new luck stat. It's an attribute, and it actually makes it better to open up chests and, destroy monsters and things like that and go fishing. It's very similar to Luck of the Sea, but this luck little attribute will affect a bunch of things. Like I said, any chests you open that are loot chests, or monsters you kill, you will get either more rare loot more often or things like that. So it's kind of like looting, but it's more of a way to make sure you can find the rarer stuff a little easier. So it's definitely very helpful. Now, there is something that is the opposite of luck, and it is bad luck. And I can get myself a potion of bad luck. Right now, there's not really an easy way to do it, but you can use this command here to spawn in a custom potion. It is ID 27, and you can make yourself a bad luck potion to try this out. It's very strange looking because it's the broken texture, so it looks like you just have this giant box on your arm or something. But when you drink it, it works like a normal potion, and you get bad luck, which has an icon of a little broken, withered 4-leaf clover. And when you have this, it counteracts the same effect. So it's basically just the opposite. You don't find as much rare loot from mobs and chests and things like that. But it is very useful, and it can affect fishing as well, like I mentioned, because that was the original way that luck was kind of in the game. Now, I had bad luck, and then it started raining, so I don't think it affects weather, but that would be kind of cool. That would be tough to do with a bunch of players on the server, but that was a weird coincidence. Ooh, maybe it's already doing that, and I just didn't know it. Okay, so yeah, you have the luck potion that we'll hopefully be able to make soon and brew. There's also this very strange uncraftable potion, and you can summon this in as well, or give yourself it, and it's just empty. It's very weird. You can't make it. It's actually called uncraftable potion, so it's bizarre. I wonder what this mysterious thing is going to do. Or maybe it's just a placeholder for potions that you would find as loot instead of being able to make them. Now, I mentioned, yeah, fishing will be affected by luck as well, and it increases the weight, or decreases if you have bad luck, the weight of finding those rare treasure loot. And that's a good way to get those enchanted books like the new Mending and Frostwalker enchantments. So fishing is definitely an option to do that as well. Now, Guardians, speaking of fishing, the Guardians, the normal ones, were dropping some rare treasure in the recent snapshots, but now they only drop fish and things like that, and the Guardian Elders will still drop the rare treasure though. So if you want to get, fishing books or related, enchantment books and things like that, you can go after the Elder Guardians as well. Over here we have a cauldron, and this is a feature that was a bug that was addressed back in 1.5, and it finally got fixed. You can use a bucket to get the water out of a cauldron and put it back in. So there we go. That was something that once you put the water in there with a bucket, it used to be locked in, but now you can take it out and use it as much as you'd like, and put it back in. And then I mentioned enchantments. Shields can get mending now, which is a big deal because shields do break very quickly. And if you haven't seen the shield mechanics in 1.9, there's a previous snapshot that, addresses all of that stuff you can check out, and a playlist down below. So mending, if this is on a shield, this is extremely useful, like I mentioned. And the mending enchantment, once you get experience, it will heal whatever it's on, whatever piece of equipment, like the new Elytra wings and things like that. But on a shield, this would be amazing. You would probably never have to repair your shield or make a new one as long as you hold on to it, keep it in your hand, and as you kill monsters or mine, it will just repair any damage that your shield takes from blocking arrows and things like that. So very, very useful indeed. Now over here, I've got the tipped arrows are going to be set up in the in this little area because I wanted to make sure I had enough room because we need to use lingering potions. So this is kind of strange. The lingering potions, we mentioned these before in another snapshot as well. They've been around for a bit. When you throw one down, they'll sit on the ground and make this nice little crazy particle effect, and you can walk through it to get the effect or use it on monsters. But the way to get the new tipped arrows in survival is actually to shoot them into a lingering potion. This is not, the most efficient way to get a very rare item, and I think they did it like this because the little, tipped arrows are very powerful. So if you shoot them into the potion effect, and then if I walk through, we should get at least a few. There we go. We got 3 arrows of healing, so it won't affect all of them. It kind of burns that potion up very quickly. So we're going to try to... Oh, wrong arrow there. Let me put this here. There we go. Make sure it's shooting the normal ones first. Whatever's on your hotbar, remember, takes priority, or if it's in your offhand, like the shield is. But yeah, so we'll get a couple of these out of it, but not too many, only a few. So it's kind of slow goings. You have to get the potion that you want. You have to brew it with the dragon's breath to make these lingering potions, and then shoot arrows in there, and you only get a few at a time. So I don't know if a lot of people are going to like this method. I know I've seen a few people complain about it, but I think the balance is that the tipped arrows are very good because you can, hit someone with a potion effect from very far away, and they'll be pretty useful in PvP combat. Now, arrows were changed around a little bit. The tipped arrows, you can see the duration of them is 1/8 of the potion that you use. So the tipped arrows, you can see some of them only last like 2 seconds or 11 seconds. It depends on the length of, the potion that you are using as a lingering potion to make these in the first place. And there's also arrows and things for empty bottles, water bottles, mundane potions, the things that you don't usually... Yeah, you can see there's these uncraftable potions and mundane ones. Those arrows don't do anything, but those are in the game because we have a new tag for tipped arrows. So you can summon in, you can do /summon and do arrow and put it, wherever you want. Right here would be good. And then you have to type in potion and add in like what type of potion effect you want. Like we could do Minecraft potion of invisibility, or just put invisibility here if I can spell it right. Now it's got the pressure of being on video, and that should... Oh, we have got an unbalanced quotation, but it's because you saw what I did there. There we go, and we did summon in an invisible arrow, so it worked. So yeah, you can summon them in now if you want, and it's gonna stick there and stink stink this place up with its weird potion swirls, but that's good. So yeah, you can do a lot of stuff like that, and you can also make little cloud effects and things with these new NBT tags. Now I want to talk about golden apples real quick as well. The normal enchanted golden, or the normal golden apples that are easier to make, they actually got regeneration 2 back. That was removed, so now if you eat one, you do get that regeneration, and it will heal you a bit more than it would in some of the more recent snapshots. Now, the enchanted golden apples, or as they're called sometimes, the notch apples, these ones, they can no longer be crafted in the game. So that's unfortunate. They did take 8 gold blocks to do, so most people weren't making these anyways. But you can find them as rare loot, so they're even more useful than they were, even more important to get because they are very rare. They have a less than 3% chance, a 2.6% chance of finding them in desert temple chests, a 3.1% in dungeon, and in a 1.4 in those chest mine carts in the abandoned mine shaft. So very low, less than 3% or less chance of finding these. They're going to be super rare, but we have this new luck effect, so definitely use that when you're searching for loot, because you might just find a golden apple here, the good kind, that has all the crazy resistances and stuff. But the achievement to get these, it used to be to craft one. It is going to be changed in the future, developer Dinnerbone mentioned, to just finding one. So you just have to get one of these and you'll get that enchantment. Now, loot tables, real quick before we finish up. Loot tables were changed around a little bit. There's things like enchant randomly and set attribute functions. You can add bonus roll tags, all this type of stuff to kind of change how loot is made. This is mostly useful for map makers to determine what stuff you're going to get when you open up a chest, but it affects a bunch of different chests, and the loot in those chests has changed quite a bit as well. So you used to be able to get saddles and iron horse armor and things like that in Minecraft or mine shaft chests, and that has been changed a bit, but they did add some new things like name tags and torches and detector and activator rails to kind of spice up the loot a little bit. And a few other things were added. Desert chests, the desert temple chests, have spider eyes, gunpowder, string, sand, and golden apples added to them as well. So you can get those notch apples like I mentioned before. Salmon was now added to bonus chests, just the normal one, and you can get a bunch of different stuff in that. If you've ever spawned, start a new world, a bonus chest is one of the little options you can do, and it gives you 1 axe, 1 pickaxe, some food, and a bunch of wood items, sticks and plants and things like that. But now it's going to give you more of that stuff, and make sure you always get an axe and a pickaxe when you do that. And then last but not least, dungeon chests now have a few different other things like enchanted golden apples, melons, pumpkins, beetroot seeds and things like that, rotten flesh, bones, gold ingots, coal. A lot of new things kind of mixing up the loot table now that they have the ability to mess with that as well. And the luck multiplier now has a quality factor, so you can have bad luck and good luck and things like that. And that mostly affects fishing, whether you're going to get a good piece of loot from fishing or not. Now, before we finish up, a few bug fixes that I want to mention. We talked about the trees, the dragon getting fixed. The one thing down here I want to show you guys, this is a very, very, very old bug that annoys a lot of people, but when you break an item frame or a painting, it used to fly off and just kind of bounce around. Sometimes it would land and then glitch over in a weird spot, but now it falls pretty predictably where you think it would. It doesn't bounce away. I picked that one up, so it kind of went right into my inventory. But if you look, these are all just going to fall and land where they should. So that was a glitch that annoyed so many people, and it's been around for a crazy long time, but it has been fixed finally as well. Just like the boats, we finally get some nice new changes and fixes to features that have been in the game for a very long time. And a few other things. When shulkers died, they wouldn't give off any particles or anything, but they've been fixed like that. And the dragon breath wouldn't do damage in certain situations. Lots of little things. You could punch cake to eat it. You can't do that anymore. I liked that one, so I want to mention that, of course. And Endermen, they used to go back into their neutral state and not attack you, and they'd reset if you hit them. But they should now be a lot scarier and a lot more, fearful to deal with, especially with the new combat mechanics. And horses, minecarts, and pigs were all broken a bit in the last few snapshots, but they've been fixed. Thank you guys again for watching. This may be the last big snapshot of new features. The developers mentioned that after October, when this month is over, and it is already over, then they're going to focus on making bug fixes and try to, get this patch out for everybody to play. So thank you guys for watching. If you want to leave a like and maybe subscribe if you haven't, I definitely appreciate it. Check out the other snapshots if you want to learn about the new 1.9 features, and I will see you next time for more Minecraft. Goodbye.